Hello everyone, my name is Michaela and welcome back to the Stitches in STEM YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be talking about my stash busting spring plans. The reason I am doing this is because last year I had set a goal to use more yarn than I took in, and I failed by about 1 kilo. So I think I had used, I can't remember the exact figure, but it was about 9 kilograms of yarn, and I had taken in about 10 kilograms. So I did fail by not an insignificant amount, but not a huge amount either. So I set the same goal for this year and I made a plan to succeed this time. So the first thing I did at the start of the year was I logged all of my yarn, and I did that using an Excel spreadsheet that was made by a user called Woolwala on Instagram. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, it's Woolwala, but she had put out a message saying that if you wanted this Excel spreadsheet to send her your email address, and everyone who sent their email address within, I think it was like a 48-hour window, she sent it to everyone on that list. So I don't know if she does these kind of 24-hour or 48-hour windows every now and again, or if you can just DM her to ask for it, but that's the spreadsheet I used. So I weighed most of my yarn, not all of it, and I'll get into that. The yarn that I weighed came to about 11 kilograms, I think. And then I have another bag of yarn that I have not weighed, but I am guessing it's around 5 or 6 kilograms. So all the yarn that I have to my name weighs about 16 kilograms, which is a lot, I know. And I think that I can divide that into 3 kind of categories. So the first category is the yarn that I didn't weigh, and it is mostly, it's yarn that I bought for specific purposes but not for wearables. So things like amigurumi when I was crocheting, or blankets, or jumpers for my dog. And it's mostly acrylic. There's some novelty yarn there as well, like tinsel yarn, and there is ribbon yarn as well that I bought to make a rug for my room. So I mostly make wearables now, and I wouldn't use any of that kind of yarn to make wearables unless it was something kind of novelty, like I made a Christmas vest that had kind of tinsel on the sleeves and the neckline. So that's what I used the tinsel yarn for, that kind of thing. So I don't feel under pressure to use that yarn, which sounds strange because it is just gathering dust in my room. But sometimes I get a notion to crochet a blanket, like a mosaic kind of blanket, and in that case I will use the acrylic yarn, or to be honest, I don't mind donating it if I feel the need to. There is enough of each colour to donate for hats or baby blankets or things like that, so I don't feel I'm going to have any difficulty parting with that yarn. So that's why I don't really want to log it. I don't really feel under pressure to use it, and that's that. The second category is yarn that I bought when I started crocheting, when I wanted to make wearables or granny square accessories like bags and things. It's pretty much all 100% cotton yarn in mostly sport or Aran weight, and I have a lot of colours that I have less than 50 grams of, because I used to buy like one of each colour to make a granny square bag, and so I have like just under 50 grams of loads of different colours, and with a few exceptions I don't have enough of any one colour to make a garment. So I've kind of been making a scrappy excavation blanket with the sport weight cotton yarns, and I don't have a plan for the Aran weight. I've kind of been tipping away at them whenever I make a baby blanket. I'll like see what I'll go stash diving and see what colours I can pull to make a baby blanket with, and so yeah, I am slowly tipping away at that category of my stash, and to be honest, that is the part of my stash that I feel under the most pressure to use, because I have about 5 kilos of it. I don't really feel excited to use it, so yeah. And the third category is yarn that I bought when I started knitting. That is also a total of about 5 kilograms. It's mostly animal fibres. There's a good chunk of sock yarns, and I do have a lot, but I feel excited to use it. I have plans for pretty much all of it, and I just don't feel under pressure really with it. I enjoy having it there. So I'm not really going to be talking about that in this video. This video is going to be talking mostly about that second category, the cotton yarns. I'm not sure how the lighting is in this video. I'm using a different lens than my first podcast episode, but also we're having some weird weather. It's like there was supposed to be a storm, but it's more like sunny spells, scattered showers. So yeah, the sun is kind of coming in and out, and there might be some weird lighting issues, but I've tried to balance it out as best as I could. But I'm very quickly going to mention what I'm wearing. This is the Look at My Holes by James N. Watts. I'm wearing just a white cami underneath it. This actually was a stash project. I didn't wear this on purpose today, so that's a really good coincidence. This is Rainbow Cotton 86. It's the colour, I think colour number 1, white. It's just a pure white. I just realised I'm wearing it inside out as well. The wrong side is facing out. Anyway, you can feel how bleached it is. Like, it's pure white, and I have the next colour, which is number 2, and it's just, I think it's called natural or off-white, and it's a much nicer shade of white, and it doesn't feel bleached. I actually think it's going to be too cold for this, so I might change when I leave the house, but yeah, it's perfect for this video, being a stash project. So after logging my stash, I went through the yarns that I have a decent amount of, things that I have enough for, maybe a cami, or yeah, a cami basically. And I went through Ravelry, and I used the advanced search to look for projects that used that amount of yarn in that weight. And as most of it is cotton, I was trying to avoid jumpers or heavy garments. I was looking mostly for spring and summer garments. Some of the yarns I've decided on a particular pattern for, and some of them I have a few ideas and I haven't settled on one, and I thought it would still be fun to talk about them and maybe to get ideas. So if you have any thoughts yourself, I'd love to hear them. So as I said, I have about 5 kilos of cotton yarn that I'm trying to use up, and actually I set a goal to use 1.5 kilos this year. I haven't added up the yarns that I'm going to talk about today to see what they'll come to if I end up making all of the projects on this list, but I should probably do that, and I'll include it here. I'm also going to go in order of decreasing weight available to me, or meterage I guess available to me. So as I said, I've weighed all of these, and I'm going to start with the one that I have the most of, and I'm going to go in decreasing order. Okay, let's get started. So the first one that I have is this Cotton Kings Soft Print 8-4. It's a fingering weight, 100% cotton, and it is in the shade Plum. It's 170 meters per 50 grams, and I have 768 meters of this. So it's enough for kind of a crop t-shirt or a full length cami. I haven't swatched it yet, but I'm not sure how I feel about the variation. I think it will pool or else cause like a zigzagging effect. So I don't think I'm going to do something in stockinette. I think ideally I would like a textured garment of some sort. And the first pattern that I came across was the Outline Tee by Jessie Maid, and this is mostly stockinette, but it's got that column of drop stitches down the center and on the sleeves. I've made the Outline Tank before, and I really enjoyed it. I really liked it. I would love to make the Outline Tee, but it is mostly in stockinette, so we might have that problem of the pooling that I'm afraid of. My size would use between 617 to 686 meters. So it would use a good chunk of this, which is the goal, but yeah, it would have that, I think it would have that colour pooling effect that I'm afraid of. So that pattern is a possibility, but probably not likely. The next pattern that I came across was the Ingrid top by Gregoria Fibers. My size would use 660 meters. It is a textured kind of tank top or a sleeveless top, so the texture is ideal again, and it would use a good chunk of this yarn. But I do have another yarn that I'm probably going to make this top with, so I'll talk about that one later as well. The next one is Cami number 3 by My Favourite Things Knitwear, which is an all over brioche sleeveless top. I really like this pattern. However, my size would use 750 meters of this, or at most 750 meters. So My Favourite Things Knitwear doesn't give the meterage required. She just gives in increments of like 50 grams of the yarn. She will say that you need 200 grams for one size and then 250 grams for the next size or something like that. So you don't get, you don't really know what the exact meterage is. I also have another yarn that I might make this top with, so this pattern is not really a high contender to use with this yarn. The next pattern I came across is another My Favourite Things Knitwear pattern, and it's cami number 4, which is a strappy cami with all over texture. I think it would be perfect for a yarn like this, but it only uses 500 meters and I've got 760 meters of this, so I would like something that uses a bit more. And I also have a yarn that I bought specifically for cami number 4. It's not, I don't consider it like stash yarn or, you know, leftover yarn. The next one I came across is the Slanting Slip-On by Anne Bensel. I really like this one, but I might be playing yarn chicken because the pattern calls for up to 810 meters of yarn for my size, and the next size down requires 675 meters, so I would use somewhere between 675 and 810. So I think I could get away with this with the 768 meters that I have, and of course I could crop it. I think it's top down. I actually didn't check that. I should have checked. I think it's top down. The next pattern that I came across for this yarn is the Helix Pullover, again by Jessie Maid. My size would use 708 meters, which would be pretty good for this. So I have nothing against that one. I like it. It's a very strong contender. And the final pattern that I came across for this yarn is cami number 7 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. For my size, it would be somewhere between 600 and 800 meters. Again, with 768 meters of this, I think that would be fine. I could crop it if I need to. So of all the options, I think I would get the most use out of that one, and it is nice and textured. So yeah, I think that's probably the strongest contender for this yarn. The next yarn that I have is Hobby Rainbow Cotton 8-4 in the colour dark brown. This is a 100% cotton with 170 meters per 50 grams, and I have 737 meters of this. So the options for this would be very similar to the Cotton Kings purple yarn that I just showed, but I'm pretty set on the Couture Top by Sari Nordland. I think that pattern is very well suited to a neutral colour, and of all the yarns I'm going to show today, this is the only neutral colour that I have, so that's pretty much my decision made. I've been set on it for a while, so I'm probably going to cast it on soon enough. It's not exactly summer knitting weather just yet, but it will probably be my first cast on of the summer. The next yarn that I have is another Cotton Kings soft print, and this is in the colour number is 218. I should probably address my hand. I was walking my dog yesterday, and just like I was 9 years old again, I tripped over my shoelaces and I fell flat on my hands. It's obviously a bit unsightly for showing yarn, but I'm fine. So the first pattern that I thought about using this one for was the Moon Crush Tank by Jacqueline C. Slack, which uses 190 meters of one colour, 165 meters of another, and 110 of a third. So I was going to use this one for colour 1. And I was thinking of combining it with these two yarns for colours 2 and 3. So that's pretty much all I have of these colours, so that would be great for using these as well. So that would only use 190 meters of this, and I would be left with 490 meters, so I'm not sure how best to approach this. I think if I have enough of this for a full cami, I should try and use it all for a full cami, but I'll think about that. Other options are the same as what I mentioned for the purple yarn. The first one being the Ingrid top, which again uses 660 meters. So that would be the best option for using up most of this because I have 680 meters of this. Another option is cami number 4, which, as I've already mentioned, I already bought yarn specifically for that. I was kind of thinking that my options will either be to make a Moon Crush tank with these yarns and use the remainder of this for cami number 4, which would mean I'd have 2 cami number 4s, or I could just use all of this to make an Ingrid top, and I think that's what I'm going to do. So this is one of those yarns that I haven't 100% decided on a pattern for yet, so if you have any ideas, any thoughts, I would love to hear them. Please leave them in the comments. The next yarn that I have is Hobby Rainbow Cotton 8-6 in the colour dark red, and I have it in this crochet swatch that I did in a Suzette stitch. I really like this stitch, but I'm not going to use this for crochet. This is a sport weight 100% cotton yarn, and I have 618 meters of this. So my first plan was to make cami number 3 with this by My Favorite Things Knitwear. As I said, I have 618 meters of this, and that cami recommends 750 meters, which is significant. I think I could make it, but I would have to crop it. I looked through the projects on Ravelry in my size, and some actually used a lot less than 600 meters, whereas some used more than 750, so it seems to be quite a range. So I'm not sure where that leaves me. I'm tempted to try it anyway and crop it, or if it looks like it will be too cropped, I might just allow myself to buy another ball of this, but then I bought this so long ago that the dye lot might be completely different. So lots to think about, but part of me wants to make this work because I really like the look of this cami, and I don't think I have any other options for this. I'm tempted to start the cami number 3 and see if I can get a top out of the limited amount of yarn that I have here. The next yarn is one that I talked about on my first podcast episode, and it is Hobby Diablo Multi. This is 40% acrylic, 30% mohair, 30% polyamide, if I remember correctly. Those are the materials anyway. I'm just not sure if I got the percentages right. And I have 540 meters of this. I've already started the project with this. I talked about it in my podcast episode, and it is the Evermore sweater by Kadri. So this is a raglan v-neck with this lace T-tail down the sleeves and along the bottom hem. I don't think I'm going to do the lace. I'm just going to do plain stockinette. I just like the fit of the jumper and also the I-cord detail around the neckline, so that's why I bought the pattern. And I matched the gauge perfectly, so it was a no-brainer. I have started this, and this is what I have so far. So I'm very close to finishing the raglan increases. I think I have 6 more rows to do, and then I can join in the round. It's working up a lot faster than I thought it would. I wasn't really looking forward to this project. Like, this is one of those projects that the only reason I'm making it is to use up this yarn. I will wear it when it's finished, but I have other things that I'm more excited to work on. But it is going really fast. I am already nearly through 1 ball of this, and I have 6 balls. So, and I only cast this on like 3 days ago, 2 days ago maybe. So yeah, I think it's going to work up pretty fast, especially once I get into the round. So it calls for 585 meters. I have 540 meters. It's a bit long anyway, so I'm probably going to crop it. I don't think it will even be cropped on me. I think it will be to my hips. On the Ravelry page it looks a little bit longer than that, so yeah, I'm quite happy to shorten it a bit. The next yarn that I have is another Hobby Rainbow Cotton 8/6, so that's the sport weight 100% cotton, and this is the colour dark teal, I think. We're getting into very limited amounts. I have 435 meters exactly, and I couldn't really find a cami or a top pattern that I liked for this, but I actually thought that this might be nice for a ribbed beanie, which might sound a bit unusual, like a beanie in cotton, but I think I'm picturing the kind of beanie that you would wear if you were going for a sea swim. I don't go sea swimming very often, but I think if I did, I would wear a teal cotton beanie. So I think that's what I'm going to do with this. We're getting to the end. The next yarn that I have is Hobby Rainbow Bamboo, which is 60% bamboo, 40% cotton, and it's 250 meters in a 100 gram ball. I have another full ball of this, so I have 337 meters in total, and what I'm going to make with this is a Penelope kerchief, which is a DK weight lace bandana. I'm going to hold this double. The pattern calls for 115 meters of DK weight yarn, so if I hold this double I'll have just over 115 meters. So yeah, I'll be cutting it close, but I really like the pattern. I think I can make it work. I actually wanted to make it last summer, I just never got around to it. Emily from High Fibre Knits made it, and since then it's been on my wish list, but I just never got around to it. So I might cast this one on soon. The yarn is lovely, but it's quite slippy, so if you get a ball of this, it will just fall off itself after a while. So that's why it annoys me in my stash, because every time I open my yarn wardrobe I just see it there, and no matter how many times I rewind it, it just falls out of itself. So it's a bit annoying to look at. The next yarn that I have is Rainbow Cotton 8/4 in the shade black. Again, this is 170 meters per 50 grams, 100% cotton, and I have 323 meters of this. So this is an awkward amount to work with. It's not really enough for a lot of things that I would like to make, but I did try and find patterns, and the only thing that I came across was the Outline Tank by Jessie Maid, which I mentioned I've made before. Even though my bust size was for size medium, I made the size extra small because I had read comments about it growing when you drop the stitches, and also my gauge was bigger than what the pattern called for, so I went down 2 sizes and it fits perfectly. I really love the fit, so I took a risk, but it paid off, I used 329 grams of yarn for that project, but it was a DK weight yarn. So I think if I'm thinking about this correctly, I would use more of a fingering weight yarn to make the same top. It's already cropped. I don't think I would crop it anymore. So I'm not really sure if that's a viable option. The other option is just to make a basic kind of tank top or cami, which I think would be nice and black. I would need to find maybe a pattern for that, or kind of freehand something, I guess. Otherwise, I'm kind of out of ideas for this. If you have any, please leave them in the comments below. It's 320 grams of a fingering weight cotton yarn. The next yarn is another non-cotton yarn, and it is Winter Glow by Hobby. I have 301 meters of this. Hobby labels this as a DK weight yarn. I would say it's a heavy DK light iron. It's quite thick and thin. It's a single ply, I think. So it's got these thick and thin spots. So I think you could use it as a DK or an iron weight. I have 301 meters of this, and I'm going to make the Harris hood by Cheryl Mukhtari, who is Coco Amore Knitwear on Instagram. So it's just a basic hood, balaclava type thing. It calls for a DK weight yarn, so I think this will be perfect. And it calls for 300 meters, so I have 301 meters of this, which again is risky. It's going to be a tight game of yarn chicken, but I am determined to win. It's obviously going to be an autumn or winter knit, so it's not really part of stash busting spring, but I'm excited all the same to make this. I thought I would include it anyway, since it is a stash busting project, and I did kind of plan this as part of the rest of the yarns here. Okay, we're on to our final yarn. Thank you for sticking with me through all of this. It's been really fun to plan all of these, and I hope it's been fun for you to watch. So the last one that I have is Hobby Rainbow Cotton 84. Again in, I think this is just green. I think the colour is just green. And this is, again, fingering weight, 100% cotton, 170 meters in 50 grams. I have 268 meters of this, but I made a project with it last year that I don't wear, and I love the colour. So it's a very low priority for me, but I would like to use this in a camisole number 9 by My Favourite Things Knitwear. And obviously 268 meters isn't enough, but I would frog the project that I made last year and use the yarn left over from that. I just really love this colour. I would really like to make something out of it, and yeah, so it's a low priority because it's not currently taking up space in my stash. I only have this kind of scrap and then one full ball, so it's not really taking up space in my stash, but the top that I made with it is taking up space in my wardrobe because I don't wear it. So that's all of the yarns that I was going to talk about today. As I mentioned at the start of the video, I do have a lot more stash than that, and I'm currently working through it, but these are the yarns that I have a significant amount of, something that I could make a wearable with or an accessory. I'm feeling confident that I can get a good chunk of these patterns done. And funnily enough, Nora from aka Nora Knits just did a similar video, and Rebecca from Hip Knit Array mentions doing a video. She has, I don't think she's uploaded it yet, but she might have one as well. So it seems like stash busting spring is kind of on everyone's mind, which is really nice, because it's nice to kind of feel like everyone is working towards a similar goal. And I feel motivated by seeing other people work towards the same goal as me. So yeah, I'm excited to be doing this along with everyone else. If you haven't watched Nora's video yet, I would recommend it. If you have any suggestions or thoughts for any of the yarns that I mentioned, I would love to hear them, because it was tough work coming up with patterns for all of those yarns. I know there's a lot from My Favourite Things Knitwear there, and I am very eager to branch out to other designers. So if you know of any patterns that would fit the bill for any of the yarns that I've mentioned, I'd love to hear them. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. It'd be greatly appreciated. If you'd like to see more, please consider subscribing and ring the bell so you don't miss an upload. Other than that, that is all for now, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!